The mining colony slowly came back to life. Lights flickered on in damaged buildings. Workers cleared rubble. Hostages rested in medical tents. Korath warriors stood guard at every corner. Their scales still carried blood and dust, but their eyes looked different now. Not proud in the old way. Thoughtful, quiet. General Kragvor walked the main street alone. His heavy steps echoed on cracked stone. He passed groups of his warriors. They nodded to him. No loud greetings, no victory songs. They had won. But the wind felt strange. Small humans had done what legends could not. He stopped at the edge of the landing field. The human cutter waited there. Black hull, no shine. Engines hummed low, ready to leave. Daniel Brooks stood outside the ramp. He checked gear one last time. Laura Kane handed him a datapad. Kevin Ruiz loaded the last crate. Ashley Ford scanned the sky with her drone. Brandon Hale spoke to a freed hostage. Calm voice. Kragvor approached. The human team turned. Daniel met his eyes first. General. Kragvor stopped a few steps away. His forearms hung loose. You leave without ceremony. Daniel answered simple. We finished the job. No need for more. Kragvor looked at the cutter, then at the humans. You fought without mercy, without roar, without pause. Laura spoke quiet. We fought to end it. Mercy would have let them kill more. Kragvor nodded slow. My people fight with honor. We give chances. We take prisoners. We show strength in restraint. Daniel looked at him steady. We show strength in results. Hostages live. Reavers stop. That is enough. Kragvor studied them. One by one. Laura, sharp, calm. Kevin, strong hands, steady work. Ashley, quick, precise. Brandon, gentle with the wounded. Unshaken. Kragvor spoke low. I have led warriors for many cycles. We are the legend, the unbreakable, the feared. Yet today I saw something stronger. He paused. Not bigger, not louder, colder. When the moment comes, you do not hesitate. You do not bargain. You finish. Daniel answered. We learned that on a world that does not forgive mistakes. Kragvor touched the bone blade on his arm. It felt different now. He extended it. The blade gleamed. He offered it to Daniel. A gift, from one legend to another. Daniel took it careful. The weight felt right. He looked up. Thank you. Kragvor placed a heavy hand on Daniel's shoulder, gentle for him. If the galaxy calls again, if trouble comes, we will stand together. Daniel nodded. And we will stand with you. Kragvor removed his hand. He stepped back. The human team boarded the cutter. No goodbyes, no waves. The ramp closed. Engines rose. The cutter lifted. It climbed fast. It jumped. Gone. Kragvor watched the sky long after it disappeared. His warriors gathered behind him. They waited. He spoke to them. Quiet. The humans came. They fought. They left. No boast, no demand. A young warrior asked, Do we fear them now? Kragvor looked at the stars. Not fear, respect. They fight without mercy, not from hate, from need. When mercy fails, they step forward, and they do not stop. The warriors listened. The legend of the Korath stayed. But now it had company. A new name, smaller, quieter, deadlier when needed. The council heard the full report. They met in the bright hall. Kragvor stood before them. He spoke plain. The Reavers are broken. The colony is safe. The humans helped. More than helped. They ended it. The council asked, How? Kragvor answered, They fought without mercy, not because they are cruel, because they protect. They see the threat, they remove it. No pause, no doubt, no regret. A delegate asked, "Do we fear them?" Kragvor looked around the table. Legends fear what can surpass them. Humans can. They do not seek war, but when war comes, they finish it completely. The council sat quiet. They voted. They honored the humans, not with medals, with alliance, with trust. Megan Carter received the message. She smiled, small. She sent one word back. Understood. Years passed. The borders stayed calm. Reavers never returned. Stories changed. Young Korath heard new words. The humans fight without mercy. Not from anger, from duty. When the moment comes, they do what must be done. That is why even legends fear them. Kragvor grew older, scars deeper, but he never forgot. He kept a small human knife on his belt, a gift from Daniel. Reminder. When trouble came again, he knew who to call. Not for glory, not for power, for the quiet strength, the cold resolve, the end of mercy when needed. And he knew why legends feared humans. Because legends can bleed. Legends can lose. Humans do not stop. They finish. Quiet, calm, merciless when the world demands it. That is why even the greatest legends look over their shoulder and whisper the name. Humans. The mining colony was quiet now. Smoke still drifted from broken buildings. Reaver bodies lay where they fell. Hostages walked free. They looked pale, shaken, but alive. Korath warriors moved through the streets. They carried their wounded. They secured the last pockets of resistance. No cheers, no victory cries, just work. General Kragvor walked the main tunnel. His boots crunched on debris. Bone blades still extended from his arms. Blood, green and red, dried on his scales. He stopped at the entrance to the command chamber. Daniel Brooks stood there. The human cleaned his rifle with slow, careful hands. His black armor had new scratches. A cut on his cheek bled a little. He did not wipe it. Laura Kane stood nearby. She checked ammo counts. Kevin Ruiz packed away his tools. Ashley Ford flew her drone one last time to scan for threats. Brandon Hale helped a wounded hostage walk. Kragvor stepped closer. The human team looked up. Just steady eyes. Kragvor spoke first. "You ended the fight before we reached the heart." Daniel met his gaze. "We cleared the path. You took the ground." Kragvor looked at the tied Reaver leader on the floor. The tall mercenary sat against the wall, wrists bound, head down, no fight left. "You showed no mercy to those who resisted." Daniel answered simple. "They chose to resist. We ended the choice." Kragvor studied him. "My warriors bleed. Yours do not." Daniel touched the cut on his cheek. "We bleed. We just keep moving." Kragvor made a deep sound. Not anger, not laughter. Something between. "You fight colder than us. We roar. We charge. We feel the battle. You finish it." Daniel put his rifle away. "We protect. That is the job." Kragvor looked around the chamber. Reaver weapons scattered. Explosives disarmed. Hostages safe. He turned back to Daniel. "I have led fleets for cycles. Never have I seen warriors move like you. Silent, precise, without pause." Daniel nodded once. "We learned on a world that does not forgive pause." Kragvor stepped closer. His shadow covered the human. "I thought you were soft, small, weak." Daniel did not flinch. "Many think that." Kragvor placed one heavy hand on Daniel's shoulder. "Careful, not to crush." "I was wrong." Daniel looked up. "You are not wrong about strength. You are strong. We are different strong." Kragvor removed his hand. He looked at the other humans. Laura met his eyes without fear. Kevin stood straight. Ashley hovered calm. Brandon helped the last hostage stand. Cragvor spoke to them all. You came without boast. You fought without demand. You left no loose ends. Laura answered quiet. That is how we work. Cragvor nodded slow. My people will hear this. The legends will change. He turned to leave. At the door he paused. Captain Brooks. Daniel looked. If trouble comes again, call us. We will stand with you, Daniel answered. And we will stand with you. Cragvor walked out. His warriors waited. They saw their general. They saw the small humans behind him. No one laughed now. No one mocked. The Korath carried their dead. They carried their wounded. They carried new respect. The colony was secure. The reavers broken. The hostages safe. The humans boarded their cutter. No parade. No speeches. They left quiet. Cragvor watched the small ship rise. He stood on the surface. Wind tugged at his scales. He touched the bone blade on his arm. It felt lighter now. The legend of the Korath was old, unbroken, unbeaten. But today something new stood beside it. Small, quiet, merciless when needed. And for the first time, the legend felt small, because humans fought. Mercy. Not from hate, from duty, from need. And that was why even legends began to fear them. Not as enemies, as something more. Something that finished what legends started. Something that did not stop. The cutter jumped away. The Korath fleet stayed. They cleaned the field. They guarded the colony. They waited. Because next time trouble came, they knew who to call. And they knew why. The softskins were not soft. They were the end of mercy. When mercy failed, and legends learned. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, unbreakable, and it wears human skin. The Galactic Concord had stood for over 1,000 cycles. Its members came from dozens of species. Tall Varelians with delicate wings, slow-moving crystal beings from Thalor, feathered scouts from Aether. All of them valued peace above everything. They solved problems with words, with trade, with long meetings in bright halls. Weapons were rare. Combat was something old stories warned against. They believed reason always won. The Korath were different. They were the Concord's enforcers, huge reptilians, 4 arms, natural bone blades along their forearms, scales thick as armor. They had never lost a war anyone remembered. When the Korath arrived on a world, fighting stopped. Pirates surrendered. Rebels laid down arms. Even the oldest legends spoke of them with respect. Young ones were told, if the Korath come, bow your head and live. The Concord Council kept them close, not as rulers, as guardians. General Cragvor led the Korath delegation. His voice rumbled like stones rolling. His yellow eyes missed nothing. When new species joined, he watched them, measured them. Most were small, weak. He nodded politely, then forgot them. Humans joined last. They came in a plain transport, no bright colors, no heavy guns showing. Captain Daniel Brooks stepped out first, tall for a human, short brown hair. Gray eyes, calm and steady. Behind him walked Laura Kane, sharp and quiet. Kevin Ruiz, broad shoulders, carried toolkits. Ashley Ford, quick eyes, scanned every corner. Brandon Hale, steady hands, brought medical gear. The council greeted them with smiles. They called humans clever, inventive, good at trade and machines. No one mentioned fighting. No one needed to. Humans looked soft, their skin thin, their lives short. The council assumed they would add ideas and goods, not blades. General Cragvor met Daniel in a side hall. 4 arms crossed. You are the Deathworlders, he said, voice low. Daniel looked up without fear. That is what some call us. Cragvor made a deep sound. almost a laugh. Your world tries to kill you every day, yet you stand here, small, unarmed. Daniel answered simple. We adapt. Kragvor studied him longer, then turned away. Stay out of trouble, he said. Trouble is our work. Daniel nodded once. The council moved on. Humans were given a small office, a seat at meetings. They spoke little. They listened much. Delegates noticed how quiet they were, how they watched everything. Some joked in private. They could not lift a Korath blade, one said. Another laughed. They would break trying. The jokes felt safe. Then the Void Reavers came. The Reavers were not pirates. They were worse. Mercenaries with stolen tech, fast ships, heavy weapons. They hit border colonies, took people, left fire. The Concord Navy was too slow, too careful. Losses grew. The council debated for weeks. Send diplomats. Send warnings. Send nothing. Then a mining world sent one last message. Reavers landed. Heavy force. Please help. The council looked at General Kragvor. He stood. My fleet will end this. The chamber relaxed. The Korath would handle it. They always did. Megan Carter stood. Our people can help. The council looked at her. Kragvor spoke first. Your help is not needed. Megan met his eyes. We offer it anyway. Kragvor made that deep sound again. Stay here. Watch. The council voted. The Korath would go alone. The humans stayed. But later that cycle, a small human transport left the station. No announcement. No fanfare. It slipped away quiet. Daniel Brooks was on board. So were Laura, Kevin, Ashley, Brandon. They carried no flags, only gear. Old gear. Scarred gear. The kind used when words fail. The Korath fleet jumped to the mining world. They expected a quick fight. They found something else. The Reavers were waiting. Stronger than expected. Better armed. The battle began. Korath ships charged. Blades ready. The Reavers met them. Hard. Fast. The Korath pushed. They always pushed. But the Reavers did not break easy. They fought smart. They used the planet's rings for cover. They struck flanks. They took losses. So did the Korath. For the first time in long memory, Korath blood spilled without clear victory. General Kragvor stood on his bridge. He watched screens. He growled low. Then sensors pinged. A new signature. Small ship. Human design. It slipped into the system. No hail. No announcement. It moved toward the Reaver flank. Quiet. Steady. Kragvor narrowed his eyes. The softskins came anyway. He opened a channel. Human vessel. This is Korath Command. Stand down. No answer. The ship kept moving. Then it launched pods. Small black pods. They hit a Reaver cruiser. The cruiser did not fire back. It did not have time. The fight had changed. And the Korath watched. They watched the legends meet something new. Something without mercy. The Korath fleet arrived at the mining world in tight formation. Their ships were massive. Dark red hulls. Sharp spines along the sides. Engines glowed hot orange. General Kragvor stood on the bridge of the flagship Ironfang. His forearms rested easy. Bone blades gleamed under the lights. He watched the planet below. Smoke rose from the colony. Reaver ships circled like sharks. Scan the surface, he ordered. The sensor officer answered fast. Reaver forces entrenched. Heavy weapons on the landing pads. They hold the main mine entrance. Civilian hostages inside. Kragvor made a low rumble. Prepare boarding teams. We end this quick. The fleet moved in. No hesitation. No long talk. Korath doctrine was simple. Strike hard. Strike first. Reaver ships turned to meet them. They fired plasma lances. Bolts crossed space, hit Korath's shields. Energy flared bright. The shields held. Iron Fang returned fire. Heavy rail cannons spoke. Slugs punched through Reaver armor. One enemy cruiser listed. Air vented in white clouds. The Korath pressed closer. Boarding pods launched. Long tubes, filled with warriors. They slammed into Reaver hulls. Cutters burned through metal. Korath poured out, blades ready. They fought room to room. Bone met steel. Blood sprayed. The Reavers resisted hard. They used traps, hidden explosives, ambush corners. Kragvor watched feeds from his warriors. One team cleared a corridor. Another took a bridge. Slow. Costly. A report came. Losses mounting. Reavers fight like they expect us. Kragvor growled. Push harder. Then sensors pinged. A small ship entered the system. Human design. Fast cutter. Matte black. No markings. It slipped behind the Reaver line. Quiet. No engines flare until the last second. Kragvor narrowed his eyes. The soft skins. He opened a channel. This is Korath Command. Stand down. This is our fight. No reply. The cutter launched 5 small pods. They hit a Reaver cruiser on the flank. The cruiser did not fire back fast enough. Pods breached. Black armored figures stepped out. Humans. They moved different. No roar. No charge. Silent steps. Low crouch. Weapons up. They cleared the first deck fast. Short bursts from suppressed rifles. Reavers dropped before they could shout. One human, Laura Kane, led the team. She spoke low over comms. Kevin, charges on power core. Ashley, scout ahead. Brandon, cover rear. Daniel, center. Daniel Brooks moved with them. Calm. Steady. He checked corners. He listened. They reached the engine room. Reavers waited. A fight started. Blades swung. Rifles barked. The humans did not back up. They closed distance, used elbows, knees, fists when guns ran dry. One Reaver charged Daniel with a heavy blade. Daniel stepped aside, grabbed the wrist, twisted. Bone snapped. The blade fell. He drove a knee into the gut. The Reaver doubled over. Daniel zip-tied wrists, moved on. No extra hits, no waste. Kevin placed charges. Ashley marked exits. They left the cruiser. Charges blew. Engines died. The ship drifted. Kragvor watched the feed. The small team did in minutes what his warriors took hours. He spoke quiet. They fight without mercy. His second answered. They do not shout. They do not hesitate. The battle turned. The humans disabled 3 more Reaver ships. Quiet strikes. Precise cuts. The Reavers panicked. They pulled back from the planet. Korath ground teams landed. They found the colony half saved already. Reavers dead or tied. Hostages free. A Korath warrior looked at the zip-tied prisoners. Small humans had done this. No bloodlust in their eyes. Just calm. The warrior touched his bone blade. He felt something new. Not fear. Respect. General Kragvor landed later. He walked the colony streets. Smoke still rose. He found Daniel Brooks near the main gate. The human stood quiet. Armor scarred. No blood on his face. Kragvor stopped in front of him. You were not asked to board. Daniel met his eyes. You needed help. Kragvor looked at the tied Reavers. You showed no mercy. Daniel answered simple. They chose to fight. We ended it. Kragvor studied him. But colder. Daniel shook his head. We fight to protect. That is all. Kragvor made a deep sound. Not a laugh. Something else. The Korath had never needed help. Now they had it. From small soft skins. And the help came without pride. Without demand. Just done. Kragvor looked at the sky. His legends felt smaller now. The humans had not boasted. They had acted. And the Reavers broke. The fight was not over. But something had changed. The Korath watched the humans, and for the first time in memory, a legend wondered. What happens when mercy ends? And why do even legends start to fear these quiet ones? The mining colony looked broken from above. Smoke rose in thick black columns. Buildings burned slow. Reaver ships still circled the planet like hungry birds. The Korath fleet pushed forward. Iron Fang led. Its rail cannons stayed hot. They fired steady. Each shot found a target. Reaver hulls cracked. Air vented. But the Reavers did not run. They fought smarter now. They used the planet's rings for cover. Small rocks hid their ships. They struck fast, then slipped away. The Korath took hits. Shields flared. Armor scarred. Warriors died on boarding teams. For the first time, Kragvor felt something tight in his chest. Not fear. Frustration. He stood on the bridge. Forearms crossed. Yellow eyes narrow. "Report," he said. The sensor officer answered quick. Reaver main force dug in at the central mine. Hostages still inside. "If we storm, the mine collapses." Kragvor growled low. "Then we storm careful." He turned to his second. "Prepare elite teams. We go in heavy." The second hesitated. "General, the humans request to join the assault." Kragvor looked at the screen. The small black cutter drifted nearby. No damage, no losses. He made a deep sound. "Let them come. Let us see what the softskins can do." The human team prepared in their cutter. Daniel Brooks checked his rifle. Short barrel, suppressed. Laura Kane loaded extra magazines. Kevin Ruiz packed shaped charges. Ashley Ford tested her drone feed. Brandon Hale sealed medkits. Daniel spoke quiet. "No hostages die today. We go in, we clear path, we end it." They nodded. Pods launched again. 5 black shapes. They aimed for the mine entrance. Reavers waited inside. Barricades, heavy guns, traps. The Korath pods hit first. Warriors charged out. They met fire. Plasma burned scales. Bone blades clashed with metal. The fight was loud, brutal, blood sprayed. The human pods landed silent. They breached a side vent. No explosion, no alarm. They slipped inside. Laura led point. She moved low, eyes sharp. The vent was tight, dust thick. She crawled forward, listened. Voices ahead, Reaver guards. She signaled. Kevin moved up, placed a small charge. Silent type. It popped soft. Vent cover fell away. They dropped into a side corridor. Reavers turned. Too late. Laura fired twice. 2 headshots. Clean. Quiet. The bodies dropped. They moved deeper. Ashley's drone flew ahead. Small, black. No sound. It showed the layout. Hostages in the main chamber. Reavers around them. Explosives wired. Daniel spoke low. "Split. Laura and Kevin take explosives. Ashley and Brandon cover hostages. I take command center." They moved. No words needed. Laura and Kevin reached the power room. Reavers guarded the detonator. Kevin threw a flashbang. Bright light, loud noise. Reavers staggered. Laura stepped in. Rifle up, short bursts. Reavers fell. Kevin moved to the detonator. Cut wires. Steady hands. "Done," he said. In the main chamber, Ashley and Brandon reached the hostages. Reavers stood around. Guns pointed. Ashley's drone dropped smoke. Thick gray clouds filled the room. Brandon charged first. Big frame. He tackled one Reaver. Pinned him. Zip-tied fast. Ashley moved through smoke. Precise shots. Knees. Shoulders. Reavers dropped screaming. Hostages crouched low. Eyes wide. Brandon spoke calm. "Stay down. You are safe now." Daniel reached the command center alone. The Reaver leader waited. Tall. Armored. Heavy blade in hand. He laughed. "Small thing. You think you can take me?" Daniel stepped forward. No blade. Just hands. The leader swung. Daniel ducked. Close distance. Palm strike to throat. The leader gagged. Daniel grabbed the arm. Twisted. Blade fell. He drove an elbow into the temple. The leader staggered. Daniel swept the leg. The leader hit ground hard. Daniel knelt. Zip-tied wrists. The leader looked up. "You fight without honor." Daniel answered quiet. "You took hostages. You lost honor first." He stood. Opened comms. "Command center secure. Hostages safe." Cragvor heard the report. His warriors still fought in other sections. But the main threat was gone. The humans had ended it. Cragvor stared at the feed. A small human stood over the Reaver leader. No rage, no triumph, just done. The Korath pushed the last pockets. The mine was theirs. Hostages walked free. Cragvor landed. He walked the corridors. Found Daniel near the entrance. The human cleaned his rifle. Calm, no rush. Cragvor stopped. "You finished what we started." Daniel looked up. "We helped finish it." Cragvor looked at the tied Reavers. "You showed no mercy." Daniel met his eyes. "They chose this path. We ended it quick." Cragvor studied him long. "You fight like death itself." Daniel shook his head. "We fight to live, to protect. That is all." Cragvor felt something shift. The legends he carried felt heavy now. The unbeatable Korath, the feared ones. And here stood small humans, quiet, cold when needed, merciless when pushed. Cragvor placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. Heavy, careful. "You have my respect," he said. Daniel nodded once. "We did what was needed." The colony was safe, the Reavers broken, but the Korath watched the humans leave. And for the first time, a legend wondered. If even we fear something, what does that mean? The answer came quiet. It means humans fight without mercy. And that is why even legends look twice.